Hi. So currently, Social Security taxes aren't paid on income above $106,800. Removing or lifting that cap would go a long way in keeping our Social Security system solvent. Would you support removing or lifting the cap?
Let me just tell you what has to happen on Social Security, I believe. Social Security can be saved. It's going to look different, but it can be saved. And I believe that when we have discussions about Social Security that scare people, we do the population, the people of America, a great disservice. When we talk about Social Security as being fraudulent, when we talk about it as being a Ponzi scheme, as we have the two Republican frontrunners do over the last couple of days, I think scares the American people. And if you want to win an election in 2012, that's not the way to get it done. The American people want solutions. A couple of things that I would do that I think would be very good for Social Security. Number one, we need to look at the underlying assumptions for inflation and tie them more to the consumer price index as opposed to wage growth. That alone would be a very, very powerful thing to do. People don't realize that, but it would change the balance sheet in a fairly remarkable way. Number two, let's recognize that when Social Security was launched in 1935, the average length of life in America, 61.7 years. So the deal was you worked for 40 years, you took out 2 years. That was a pretty good deal. Now people are working 20 years and want to take out 40, and they wonder why we're upside down. That's where we are. So I say, because we're living longer today, if you look at somebody born in 1900 versus somebody born today, we picked up 3 decades of life. That's where science has taken us over the last century. So let's take the retirement age and place it at the 85th percentile of the average length of life. I think that's fair. Let me just add a number 3. There are a whole lot of people in this country at the higher income categories who don't need it. And I think they would be the first to stand up and say, I don't need Social Security, maybe even on Medicare. Let's get real about the numbers, and there are probably some folks who would be the first to step out and say, we all are going to have to put forward some sort of sacrifice. There will be a shared sacrifice required on the entitlement side. I'm going to talk about that. It might not be the most popular thing in the world, but there are a lot of people in this country in the higher income categories who don't need Social Security and don't need Medicare. And I believe if we look at those 3 elements on Social Security, we can get there. And we can fulfill the commitment to the American people that was made in 1935.
Can I ask an unrelated question?
Sure.
On the topic.